there's a thing, man. You know, when you learn how to play, that's a technical thing. You learn how to play your instrument. You learn how to improvise, learn the theory and all of that stuff. But if you're lucky enough to be dumb enough to let your heart guide you, you know, then at a certain point in your life, something clicks, you know, and that's how I was. I was too dumb to know the difference. And when I started traveling, even before I traveled, we just living here and experiencing the musicians that I lived here, that I grew up with living here, and the conditions and just everything that, you know, you go through in terms of just trying to survive. And I didn't struggle. I mean, we grew up middle class, but, you know, we had our issues. You know, those things affect you in certain ways that just become a part of you. And when you travel, you know, you go to other places, you see how other people live. You see how other people have not a tenth of what we have in terms of material wealth, but they have 100 times what we have in terms of integrity, self-esteem. You know, it starts to make you question your belief system, you know? And then in doing that, me personally, when I perform, sometimes I always try to lose myself in what it is that we do on the bandstand. And those emotions and those anxieties, frankly, all of that stuff comes out in ways that we can't describe. Hence the reason why we do what we do. You know, I think part of being an artist is therapy, frankly. You know, you always talk about, you hear comedians talk about they grew up and grew up with a lot of pain in their lives. It was one of the reasons why they laugh all the time. Well, I think the same thing happens with artists in a sense. You know, there's sometimes when we play, and Vinny can tell you, because, you know, we can't explain what it is that we do, but we're affected by everything that we touch or everything that we see. We sit down and we wake up in the morning, man, in The Hague, and we'll start talking about, man, did you see what happened? Man, how could this happen? How can people do this? Man, what's going on? These guys are very conscientious, and that makes a big difference in the music, you know? I think it all starts with your personality first, frankly. I think if you have it, you have it, you know? And I mean, you could speak on this. I mean, but
we were just in France as a good example. On the tour we did, there was a gig in a monastery. Well, it was once a monastery, you know, 300-year-old monastery in France, the Chartreuse Monastery, and now it's a writer's guild. And Terence played in the monastery, and they put the guys up in the monastery. Now these rooms were, you know,
not 4-star.
Yes, there was no TV, no 600 thread count pillows and sheets, and
those aren't my writer requirements either.
No room service.
No room service. and the guys were all actually 3 per room. Actually, we had our own little bedrooms, but in the beds weren't nice by any means. But he's had people in his band before that I could tell you would have complained the entire time we were there. But the band he has now, which is a lot about the personalities that he attracts, they realize how beautiful it was and what a great opportunity they have in life to be there. Like, not everybody gets that opportunity, and they definitely take that with them. And they say that all the time when they're on the road, like, can you believe we're doing this? What a great opportunity we have in life. And I think, and he's right, they take that, every little thing that happens to them as we go along, they take to the bandstand, and you can tell.